So I wanted to show you real quickly how to make a kind of a modification. It's just a cooking crane, a simple cooking crane with one little mod for this particular skill that we're isolating here with the boiling in the bag. So for your normal cooking crane, you've got a Y-shaped stick pointed at the end, Y branch, nice sturdy part that you could actually hammer into the ground. And then you've got another Y-shaped stick, but it's actually turned over, crowned on the top, and this is a little crooked, but that's all right, and a point on the bottom. So that's your simple cooking crane kind of apparatus. This becomes the fulcrum, this becomes kind of the stopper, and then you have a long straight stick that would go from the fulcrum of the Y shape across over the fire, and then this would actually be a stopper, and you can adjust height by raising or lowering this against the fulcrum. But anyway, the only difference between this and a simple cooking crane is that I've split the end of it here, and I'll show you that real quick. So I've taken it and I've split this, and I purposely split it down to this knot so that I wouldn't have to whip it to keep it from splitting any further. But I want this so that I can actually clamp the bag and hold it over the fire. So that is what we're doing with that. Simple cooking crane again. Y-shaped stick, another one Y-shaped stick but flipped over. And then I've got kind of my crane arm with a split in it. Alright, this seems like good a spot as any. Here amongst the jewel weed. See if I can find you an example of why it got its name, jewel weed. See kind of how the light reflects off of that after a rain. They're all just little water droplets. Some decent ones back there, shimmering like jewels. But anyway, good relief for the itch from poison ivy. This is as good a spot as any, I think. Alright, so I found my water source, and what I like about this cache belt is I've kind of got mine going around the inside: fire, shelter, water, food, then come around the back side. I start getting into some of the tools on around to navigation, and then signal is up towards this side. So that way when I'm reaching in to find something, I know where it is thereabouts. So around about fire, shelter, water, I need a water procurement. I can just open the top here. Viola, voila. I don't know what it's really supposed to be. Comment below, let me know what you think. I think it's viola. So, Anyway, so a couple of Ranger bands. This is the one that comes in the standard everyday essentials kit. A couple of Ranger bands, you're going to want to hold on to those. A couple of micro pures, hang on to those. We're not going to use those. I'm actually going to thermally disinfect in the bag. I'll put those in my pocket. Open up the bag. See what we got here. Like I said, it's an oven safe bag, food safe. I should say food safe, high temperature rated. It's rated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can turn it inside out if you want to get rid of these edges, but I don't really think that's all that necessary. So one of the awkward parts of this is actually holding it whenever you're going to put it up on a cooking crane like I'm going to thermally disinfect. So what I'll do is I'll fold the top over about an inch or so, roundabout, like so. Then I'll take a couple of sticks, and I've rounded these sticks off so they don't have any sharp edges. And I'll just slide the sticks up underneath those kind of sleeves, those kind of pockets that I've made on both sides. Now I think you can see why you don't want any sharp edges or sharp points. And those are about 4 or 5 inches or so long. And now I've got myself more work to do is what I've got myself. There we go. All right, so now I've got kind of a lip up there, and then you can see I've got this seam right here that's going to come into play later when I clamp the bag. But I'll take that and I'll fill it right here in the stream. There we go, 32 ounces of crisp, not so clean mountain water. Take that and move over to the fire with it. Now, once you've got your water and you got your Ranger band on standby here, there's 32 ounces of water in the bag. Just got my little wooden keepers up here. I'm gonna slide that into the slot, making sure that you capture the bottom edge of that wrapper, or the bottom edge of that bag. Slide it on, clamp that down, and take your Ranger band and slide it over the end to keep it closed. And that holds your bag. Place it down in here. And kind of adjust it as needed. I've got it close to the fire. It's a heat resistant bag, like I said, up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, but I don't necessarily want to put it up into the flame. But these edges that don't have any water on them, you'll see them start to fray, but that shouldn't damage the integrity of the bag. Any place that there's water is never going to reach that temperature. It's going to hit 212 before that. So kind of like when you're boiling in a styrofoam cup. Wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it because the water prevents the actual styrofoam from melting anywhere that it's in contact with it. So kind of the same principle here. So I'm going to start, leave this rolling. It is 1345. We'll see how long it takes to boil this with a little bit of indirect heat. Probably just a couple of inches from the fire. I would say 3 to 4 inches from the fire. So I'll let that roll and see how it comes out. Maybe I'll actually switch over to a time lapse, and once it gets boiling, I'll let you know what time it is. All right, I'm going to switch that. Alright guys, as you can hear, she's going like a tea kettle. It is 1413, so 213. So 28 minutes, which I could have manipulated the fire a little bit and got it to go faster, but I wanted to kind of maintain the integrity of the time lapse there. I'm just going to take that back just a little, and the edges right here that don't have any water in contact with them started to wear away, but I haven't lost the integrity of the bag at all. And like I said, I could have manipulated this around a little bit and got it to boil faster than that, but as you can see, it's a full rolling boil. The bag is still good to go. Let me back that up just a little more. I'm actually spilling it out the top because it's boiling over. But, you know, to kind of reiterate, you know, this should not be your primary kit. You should have something else. This shouldn't be your primary kit. This shouldn't be your main method of procuring water in the wild. And I could also do something like a rock boil where I drop rocks, hot rocks down in there and bring it to a boil, but I tend to lose a lot of volume that way. And it kind of defeats the purpose of having a heat resistant bag like this one. The one from Wazoo here is rated up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Another thing that made it take a while is because it's not a metal container, I wasn't able to surround it completely with fire, because what's happening is the heat is on this side, it's being transferred to the other side. You probably recognize in the time lapse that the side closest to the fire was what boiled first, and then that kind of dissipates. You know, it follows that temperature gradient from higher to lower temperature. So as it's going, it then releases that heat to the environment. So because it wasn't completely surrounded, it took a little bit longer as well, which is okay. Like I said, this should not be your primary method. This shouldn't be your, you know, the belt should not be your primary kit. There should be supplementary, or it should be emergency kit, because you don't have it for whatever reason, or you need to supplement the kit that you do have for whatever reason. But the question really becomes, is it adequate? Does this contain water? Yes, it does contain water. Can I disinfect in it? Yes, I can disinfect with the MicroPure from Katahdin. I can disinfect with those. That'll give me, you know, basically 2 of these. And with that, you know, make it your own kit. You should definitely, I would definitely recommend that you add more tablets than just 2, because you need, you know, 2 to 5 of these a day, you know, to maintain your hydration. And hydration is something that, dehydration is something that's dangerous in the wild, so you'd want to have more than just 2. It just comes with 2, but that doesn't mean you can't add more to it. And then of course, you know, I still have, you know, the integrity of this bag has still been maintained, so I don't know how many times I can boil in this, but I know at least once, and probably a second time as well. So anyway, shouldn't be your primary kit, but yes, it is absolutely adequate. It is a great emergency container. I can disinfect with chemical disinfection with those tablets, and I can also disinfect thermally by boiling. As always, appreciate your likes, your views, your comments, your questions, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you can catch videos about this and other topics. And until next time, hope to see you in the woods. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I did have to move it one time. Whoa! I did have to move it one time during the time lapse, just to kind of get it closer to the fire. The fire had kind of shifted over, so you probably saw me get up and move that just a little bit closer. But you know, you guys get the time lapse, and I got to sit and watch it boil for 30 minutes. Yeah, I gotta say, you know, watching water boil is about as exciting as watching paint dry. So yeah, had to move it.